The young master of the first generation of the Huaguo family in Kyoto, suffering from a mysterious illness, fought his way from the war king of the Black Ice Pavilion to the Underworld King of the Dark World. After returning to the city, he made a promise and caused a stir in the city of Haicheng. Chapter 1. Deficits. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The Middle East is the place with the most wars in the world, with a harsh natural environment, year-round high temperatures and droughts, and particularly severe desertification. But this region is also the world's largest reservoir of liquid gold. Oil, and it is home to a plethora of small countries with severe factional conflicts, constantly in turmoil. Of course, this region is also the place with the most mercenaries in the world, exchanging life for wealth. There are different factions, mercenaries from different cultures, and interest groups here, constantly competing for land and oil fields. Life here is cheaper than a mouthful of water. Because whoever controls this place controls the discourse power of modern economy, and whoever is strong can survive. The people living here live a life of anxiety every day, living a life of today without tomorrow. In the hinterland of a desert in the Wolf Kingdom, Ji Duoqing has been leading his comrades of the Ghost Mercenary to fight non-stop for 5 days and 5 nights. 7 days ago, the Ghost Mercenary Corps received a high commission offer from the government of the United States, requesting them to protect the local scientific research team of 10 scientists from the United States and cooperate with the United States Navy Marine Corps to complete the latest discovered oil and gas field scientific research mission. Under the temptation of $50 billion, the Ghost Mercenary Corps immediately accepted this task. Ji Duoqing led a team of 12 members from the underworld, thinking that after taking on this task, she would disband the Underworld Mercenary Corps on the spot and let her teammates go back to their respective homes and find their mothers. Because in the past 3 years, any business received by Yuming from its establishment to now has been 100% completed, which has brought generous rewards to Yuming. Yuming has 12 people, each estimated to be worth over $5 billion, with 0 casualties in the past 3 years. This has also laid the foundation for the first-ranked myth of the underworld in the mercenary world. There is a saying in the Western world that goes, "In danger, seek the underworld, and the Underworld King will send you to heaven." The meaning is that no matter what dangerous mission it is, the Ghost Mercenary Corps will accept it, as long as the price you offer is reasonable. Moreover, if the Underworld King wants you to live, you cannot die, and if you die, you cannot live. Ji Duoqing silently watched as the affectionate sunset slowly set, calculating in her heart, if you hold on until 12 o'clock tonight at most, the task will be completed. I will return to my home country as soon as possible, and I will never stay in this damn place again. Ji Duoqing said, "Mingwu, keep an eye on the sand dune 3,000 meters away. I always feel that it should be a sniper's point. There should be super strong snipers in the Elon organization," Mingwu said. "Boss, don't worry. Even if the country of Iran hires Dokotler, it won't work. His sniper range is only 2,500 meters at the farthest." Ji Duoqing said, "Mingwu, don't be careless. I heard that Huaguo has developed a sniper rifle that can shoot even farther than a Bartley. Let's not be careless." Mingwu. "Okay, boss." Ji Duoqing said, "Mingwu, I know your sniping ability is the best in the world, there is no one, but you still need to be cautious and cautious. After we finish this task, we will go home, and we must go home completely. Understand? We will lie flat in China from now on. When we return home, you, Mingchen, and Mingqiu will come to Haicheng to find me, and we will lie flat together. We must never owe our loved ones around us, so we must go home safely." Mingwu said, "Boss, this guy Mingchen must not be able to come out. His old man urges him to go back home every day to get married, have children, and inherit the family business. Boss, I'm from Haicheng, and my sister is also in Haicheng. Let me match you two up then. My sister is 2 years older than me and happens to be 23 years old this year, the same age as you. Moreover, my sister is very beautiful and sexy, definitely suitable for you. Ji Duoqing said, rolling calf, I don't want your sister. I get annoyed every day by the Holy Emperor Princess, the Dark Queen, Domlina, Edwavia, and others. I dare to find new women. Mingwu said, boss, it's not me who said it. The other princesses have all run naked on your bed, and you've scared them away. The princess of the Holy Emperor must have thought, you won't stop lifting, won't you? Ji Duoqing said, go away, talk nonsense. I am a divine doctor with ancestral medical skills. Don't I know? I don't know. Ji Duoqing waved her hand and slapped her head after Mingwu. Chapter 2. Traps. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. On a desert night, cold and ruthless, the dark earth occasionally heard different gunshots and shells from afar. At the sand dune guarded by Ji Duoqing and Mingwu held Bartley in his hand and focused on the distance, with occasional flying dust and fireflies drifting through the night vision mirror. Suddenly, Ji Duoqing received a distress call from her beautiful employer in her earphones. Help the underworld, FK, Paul Walker. I'm fighting with you, you traitor. Eiffel, what happened? Eiffel, Ji Duoqing replied immediately, shouting non-stop. At the first moment, he got up with Mingwu and rushed towards the camp tent. Due to her eagerness to save others, Ji Duoqing quickly issued orders to the members of the Underworld team. According to the original plan, defend their respective positions. If there is any disturbance that is detrimental to the camp, they will be shot and killed as soon as possible. Got it, boss. Ghost teammates responded one by one. Eiffel, Ji Duoqing entered the camp tent at the first time, followed closely by Mingwu. Ji Duoqing watched as 6 or 7 corpses lay on the ground before taking a step towards Eiffel's side. At this moment, Eiffel was half lying down, and the people lying around him all had knives inserted into their chests, spitting and bleeding. The military knife inserted into Eiffel's chest, under the faint light, felt extremely gloomy. At this moment, Eiffel only felt less intake and more output. Hades, I'm sorry. Emperor Demon, Eiffel didn't finish his sentence and didn't take a breath. Before Ji Duoqing could pull out the silver needle, Eiffel had no life. Traps. Ji Duoqing's first reaction in her heart was the emergence of this concept. The rapid recollection of the entire incident did not determine whether the Emperor Demon was a human or an object. What exactly is Emperor Demon? Suddenly, a hint of danger entered Xuantian's body, and Ji Duoqing immediately withdrew from her body. The person who was originally lying next to Eiffel and had already died suddenly came back to life, wielding a military knife and fiercely stabbing Ji Duoqing's chest. Ji Duoqing took a deep breath, her body like soft noodles, evading the attacks of the military spikes one by one, and then casually grabbed the neck of a person on the left. What a fast body technique, this person thought to himself, fiercely approaching without any fear of death. Ji Duoqing grabbed the person's neck and loudly said, looking for death, who are you? Speak up. This person, with bloodshot eyes, faintly said, Hades, you will all die. Ji Duoqing's merciless fingers exerted force, and with a click, she broke her neck and forcefully swung towards the person coming up to attack on the left. Eiffel shouted for help and came into the tent to rescue Ji Duoqing and Mingwu, for a total of no more than 2 minutes. A sudden and rapid event without any consideration for time. Ji Duoqing, without any hesitation, ordered her teammates from the underworld through her earphones to retreat and kill anyone if they come into contact. Be careful, King of the Underworld, Mingwu suddenly came behind Ji Duoqing and shouted. At the first moment, with full body strength, Ji Duoqing and her tent were pushed 10 meters away. Mingwu, before Ji Duoqing could finish speaking, she heard 4 almost connected explosions. Bang, 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 bang. The aftermath of the bomb directly bombarded Ji Duoqing into a sandbox 20 meters away. Suicide. Human bomb. The Underworld King, the Underworld King, the Underworld Noon, boss. Ji Duoqing occasionally heard the shouts of her teammates in her ear. The pain of being burned by the aftermath of the bomb in her chest, Ji Duoqing felt no pain at all. Before turning over, he became unconscious. At this moment, Mingchen and Mingzi were running frantically towards Ji Duoqing lying in the sand pit, their submachine guns constantly shooting at the sudden crowds on both sides of the tent explosion. "Boss, boss," Mingchen shouted crazily, "Ji Duoqing." The two of them arrived at the sandpit at the first moment and shouted loudly as they looked at Jiduo's multiple wounds, which were unbearable. At this moment, Mingzi continuously threw smoke bombs ahead and shouted loudly. "Mingchen, carry the boss on your back, go quickly, I'll cover up." And immediately ordered the cover of the Minghai sniper. Mingchen carried Ji Duoqing on his back without any hesitation and ran towards the supply point of the underworld. At this moment, there was a loud explosion in the sand pit behind me, and as the sand mist drifted up in the sky, another explosion sounded. Mingchen ran wildly, shouting for cover from time to time. Chapter 3. Return to Haicheng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. One day, 3 months later, on Haicheng Street, a majestic figure strolled on the street in the bright sunshine. This person is exactly Ji Duoqing. In the photo in his hand, there is an incredibly beautiful girl with black hair draped over her shoulders, dressed in a professional suit. Her snow-white thighs are stacked together, and she sits cross-legged, exuding a sexy and playful feeling. As long as it's a man, looking at the photo, there will be an impulsive feeling. Ji Duoqing turned her hand and looked at the back of the photo, writing a line of words that read, Jianxi Beauty Group, Jiang Meinyang. Boss, do you think my sister is beautiful and sexy? I will introduce you as a girlfriend, okay? Occasionally, the words of Mingwu appear in my mind. Ji Duoqing said, Mingwu, I will definitely protect your sister and never let anyone bully her. Don't worry, Mingwu. Ji Duoqing took a deep breath and looked up at the sky. The azure cloud-topped sky, like a loving prince, vaguely embraced the earth. Looking back 3 months ago, due to a sudden illness in the Shantian body, he had no perception of his surroundings. When the illness occurred, he felt like he was in an empty jar, unable to hear any sound, and everything around him felt empty. This is a secret illness that Ji Duoqing has had since childhood, and it was also because of this secret illness that she killed her own younger sister. At that time, before being pushed out by Mingwu with all her might, Ji Duoqing's mysterious body suddenly fell ill. As a result, she did not hear Mingwu's cries, and as a result, Mingwu, Mingzi, and Minghai died tragically, leading to the disappearance of Mingyin and Mingwei. Ji Duoqing's Shantian body also accelerated the rapid recovery and healing of her body wounds. The only failure of the underworld was heavy losses, and her revenge did not last overnight. On the 5th day, Ji Duoqing ran to the beautiful country and alone washed the headquarters of Fopolar, asking where the whole problem lay. At the same time, she demanded compensation of $100 billion from Fopolar. At that time, he learned that the term Emperor Demon was first heard by Fopolar from the Kingdom of Colombia in South America. There was a mercenary organization called the Scorpion Mercenary Corps, which ran across the South American continent. The entire mercenary corps had about 5,000 people, and their individual strength values were basically at the S1 level. The S1 level was equivalent to the junior level of domestic warriors, and one person could basically defeat 20 ordinary people. In the army, it was equivalent to the level of a special forces leader. Moreover, a large number of modern advanced weapons and equipment are deployed to the Scorpion Mercenary Corps. Such equipment can easily eliminate the armed forces of any country in South America and easily overthrow a country's regime. Fortunately, this mercenary group only recognizes money and does not care about power. This organization simultaneously monopolizes all underground businesses and half of the oil resources on the South American continent, and the Colombian government sometimes needs to purchase oil from it to meet social energy consumption. The biggest source of profit for scorpions is drugs and oil, and they control the largest oil and gas resources in 3 countries in South America: Colombia, Villa, and Brazil. This terrifying organization exists, and in just 2 days, Ji Duoqing alone defeated them and forced them to ask. Emperor Demon comes from a mysterious organization in China, but they don't know what Emperor Demon really is. At the same time, they were not involved in the Middle East. Ji Duoqing spent 2 months using all her connections and resources to investigate the connection between the Emperor Demon and the oil field incident in the Middle East. However, nothing was found. It seems that Emperor Demon has never appeared, and no one has heard of it. There is no connection, and there is no clue to the Middle East oil field incident. Back in Haicheng, Ji Duoqing plans to find the sacrificed team. Mates, brothers and sisters, and their parents, and then settle down. He is slowly inquiring, hiding in the city, waiting for an opportunity. Chapter 4. Discrimination. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. After regaining her senses, Ji Duoqing quickened her pace and walked straight forward. Across the street, the Tianxi building, Wei Ran, stands to the northeast of the intersection. At the commercial entrance, there is a constant stream of people, men and women, walking in pairs, laughing and frolicking, creating a prosperous scene. Ji Duoqing looked at this beautiful prosperity and stability, and was also very happy in her heart. Who could have thought that this faction was prosperous and had been exchanged with the blood of many people? The Tianxi building has 29 floors and is a super-large complex. It is said to be the largest single building in China 10 years ago. The building complex is divided into 2 main gates. The commercial gate and the administrative office gate, with 1 front and 1 back. The commercial gate faces the bustling block, while the administrative office gate faces the quiet government-planned commercial office block. The Tianxi building, spanning 2 blocks, is the favorite place for people in Haicheng to stroll after tea and dinner, and also the busiest commercial center in Haicheng City. Tianxi building, from the 1st floor to the 8th floor, is the largest Wanda Plaza in Haicheng City, operated and managed by Wanda Group, the largest commercial management group in China. It is said that the son of the Bandai Group, known as the National Husband, was born with honey and grew up with honey. He received education from foreign nobles from a young age and was the first choice for son.in.law in the hearts of many mother.in.law. Therefore, he is also known as the National Husband of China. After completing his studies and returning to his home country, as the CEO of Bandai Group, he easily gave his son 1 billion Chinese dollars to start a business and instructed him, take it and spend it. If you don't have it, you can ask me for it. Moreover, Bandai Group's father is also in the vortex of the new generation of internet celebrities. Recently, a small goal of 100 million yuan was rumored through the internet. A small goal of 1 billion has also become various jokes on the internet. The 9th floor is the administrative office area for commercial management. As the commercial center enters the 1st floor, there are a total of 22 elevators and 10 escalators. 2 of the elevators can directly reach the administrative office area on the 9th floor, while the remaining 18 elevators and 10 escalators are all used for commercial services in the mall. The 10th to 26th floors are the places where Tianxi Jiaran Group works, and the 28th to 29th floors are the places where the leadership of Tianxi Jiaran Group works. As for the purpose of the 27th floor, even the employees of Tianxi Jiaran Group do not know, and no one has been to this floor because all elevators do not have the 27th floor button, so naturally they cannot reach this floor. Over time, employees of Tianxi Jiaran Group forgot that this building still has 27 floors and thought that there were number 27 floors in the elevator, so what were the taboos? Ji Duoqing was in a CAFA, staring across from her at the administrative office gate of the Tianxi building. Ji Duoqing, dressed in street vendors, ordered a 9.9 cup of coffee at the coffee shop and drank it all day. This has been the case for 5 consecutive days. This guy, with the old god present, gritted his toothpick in his mouth, crossed his legs, staring at the Tianxi building. This design, never absent for 5 consecutive days, always sitting in the same place when opening the door, ordering a 9.9 cup of coffee, and drinking it all day, is very eye-catching. Any guest who comes to the cafe now looks at Ji Duoqing with disdain, snorts, and moves away from the goods to find another location. Big brother, a sweet voice attracted Ji Duoqing to turn around and look up at a sweet-looking waiter calling him. Big brother, our boss said that this is the gold card for Bird Island Cafe as a gift. With this gold card, you can have free coffee for a month at Bird Island Cafe. Please don't come to our store in the future. Under the sweet voice, a young and beautiful girl stood beside Ji Duoqing, stealing softly. Ji Duoqing looked up and straight at the young and sweet young waitress. Facing Ji Duoqing's handsome and stylish face, the young and beautiful girl's face quickly turned red, and she lowered her head and dared not look at Ji Duoqing. Being discriminated against. What's going on? Do you mind if I don't consume? Ji Duoqing smiled and said. No, big brother, you misunderstood. I didn't dislike you, it was our boss who asked me to tell you, said the young and beautiful girl, waving her hands. Ji Duoqing said, what's your name? She looked at the young and beautiful girl who was as beautiful as a lotus in the water and smiled. Big brother, my name is Shenfeiyu. I am a student at Haicheng University and I am currently engaged in social practice. After speaking, Shenfeiyu's face instantly turned red to her neck. Feiyu, I'm not making things difficult for you. I'll leave when my friend finishes work. Don't worry. Shenfeiyu heard a stranger calling him Feiyu, in a teasing tone. His face turned even redder, and his head was almost down to his knees. Chapter 5, Let Me Do It, Let Go of That Girl. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Ji Duoqing did not continue to tease Shenfeiyu. Looking at the time, the Tianxi Beauty Group had already finished work. Thinking that Jiang Meinyang should have driven home from the basement, without much thought, she got up and walked out of the coffee shop because it was also time for the Tianxi Beauty Group to finish work. Ji Duoqing was not in a hurry to go home. She walked slowly with her hands in her pockets and swayed left and right. To make others appear, this is a vivid and rogue image. Anyway, he doesn't care about other people's opinions. He is now determined to return and live a peaceful life. As the sky gradually darkened, Ji Duoqing walked for about an hour towards the direction of the urban village she rented. This urban village is actually a 15-minute drive from Tianxi Group, not far away. Now this area is facing demolition, and most residents have received demolition subsidies and moved out. 30% of the residents are unwilling to move because they have not received satisfactory subsidies. In fact, the issue of becoming wealthy through demolition is no longer the case. With the progress of the times, the improvement of laws, and the more equitable distribution of wealth, it is even more impossible to achieve overnight wealth through demolition. In the first few years, I always saw who was fighting against demolition, but later the government couldn't resist and increased the demolition funds several times. Perhaps it was possible before, but it definitely can't be done now. If it were not for the outbreak of the COVID-19 epidemic, the villages in the city would have started to build. It is said that the earliest construction right of this urban village was taken by Tianheng Group. Due to the epidemic and the super first-class, glamorous operation of the boss of Tianheng Group, there is currently no trace of starting this project. Moreover, Su Jiejia, the owner of Tianheng Group, is currently under supervision by the Chinese government for misappropriating funds and bribing government officials. After professional statistics, it was discovered that Tianheng Group had actually incurred a loss of 3 trillion yuan, and its holding companies were also suspended and liquidated one by one. A while ago, residents of urban villages went to the government office to raise flags and call for a parade, applying for government protection of people's rights. As a result, Su Jiejia was monitored by the government. The current Tianheng Group is known as the Tianheng Group in the industry, and many wealthy tycoons who invest in Tianheng Group are deeply involved. Rumors have it that Louis Shou, one of the 3 richest people on Hong Kong's Fudao Island, invested 100 billion Chinese dollars in Tianheng Group. Currently, it seems that he will definitely lose all his money. "Let go of me, you hooligans," suddenly came a coquettish voice from an uninhabited alley in front of me. Due to demolition reasons, there are now no intersections, alleys, etc. for residents, and no street lights. Ji Duoqing quickened her pace and walked quickly to the entrance of the alley. At a glance, she saw a girl who seemed to be wearing a professional suit, half leaning against the wall of the alley, surrounded by 7 or 8 naked men in front of her, each of whom smirked and uttered obscene language. Due to the lack of any lighting in the alley, Ji Duoqing did not see the girl's appearance clearly. At this time, the girl's hair was messy and her face was covered, so Ji Duoqing only saw her long legs kicking around under her messy clothes. At this moment, the girl shouted loudly, "You bastard, don't come rogue." A group of big men chuckled loudly and said, "Beauty, stop struggling. Everything is in vain. Tonight, you must be our boss. It's better to save some energy and work hard in bed." "It's just a beautiful woman, yes, it's in vain," shouted a group of big men with various tongues. Ji Duoqing usually hates this kind of bullying behavior. At this moment, she shouted loudly, "Let me come, let go of that girl." A group of big men were startled and thought someone had arrived. They turned around and saw Ji Duoqing pinching her waist with her left hand and pointing her right hand at them. She seemed to be as uncoordinated as possible, and her actions, both male and female, made these big men burst into laughter. At this moment, the leading man said, "Little red boy, don't be a hero to save the beauty. We are not something you can afford to provoke. Hurry up and get out of here." Due to the large number of people, they saw that Ji Duoqing had a thin physique, dressed in a loser outfit, thinking that with just one punch, she would be beaten to the ground. However, while these big men were still croaking, they suddenly felt a cold wind blowing over their upper bodies. A black shadow that was almost invisible to the naked eye spun around them, and the back of their heads only felt as if they had been hit by a hard object one by one. Their eyes turned white and they fainted. Ji Duoqing looked at the group of big men who had already mixed up and said, "Damn it, you're such a bunch of trash. You're not worth fighting." Chapter 6. Opening a House. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In an instant, a group of big men fell down. At this moment, Jiang Meinyang, panting heavily, held onto the wall and slowly stood up. She, who had always been strong, was about to shed tears as she gazed at Ji Duoqing with tearful eyes. At this point, the body begins to heat up, and the heart surges with excitement. It is possible that the drugs mixed in the alcohol are about to start acting. Her hair was messy, covering half of her face. Breathing in the air, the mountain peak in her chest also shook up and down. Ji Duoqing looked at it with a pair of colored eyes, and her saliva was almost flowing. Jiang Meinyang let out a loud cry, her hands protecting the pride of her 2 peaks. She thought to herself, "No, I'm too unlucky. Just fell a group of hooligans, did another pervert appear. This man who saved himself looks like a loser and feels like a thug. Oh my God, who can save me?" At this moment, tears uncontrollably streamed down her face. However, she didn't have time to think much anymore. Her body quickly warmed up and her desires couldn't be controlled. So he looked at Ji Duoqing and said, "Sir, can you help me deliver it to a nearby hotel? I can't hold on anymore. After helping me bring it to the hotel and completing the task, I will give you a certain amount of compensation. Is that okay?" Jiang Meinyang's voice at this moment was like a seductive heavenly melody, causing ripples of Ji Duoqing's emotions. Ji Duoqing, with a swoosh, wiped away the drool that was about to flow with her hand and said, "What, beautiful woman, are you going to open a room with me? That's not right. I'm a serious person and won't easily open a room with messy women or anything. Of course, unless it's a beautiful woman, I won't go." Upon hearing Ji Duoqing's words, Jiang Meinyang really wanted to go up and slap him in the head for the first time. She thought to herself, "You're like a pig, you're not even having a room with a woman. I have no choice, okay?" As she was still thinking about speaking, she couldn't help but fall on her stomach, coincidentally falling into Ji Duoqing's arms. At this moment, Jiang Meinyang's hands were uncontrollable, caressing on Ji Duoqing's body. The coquettish moans made Ji Duoqing exhale like orchids in her ear, causing his half-body to burst out of the ground. "Beauty, oh, don't mess around. I'll take you to the hotel, don't tease me, be careful, I might get angry." Ji Duoqing struggled to control herself and shouted loudly. Quickly, 5 minutes after Ji Duoqing's romance, a nearby hotel called the 8-Day Chain opened a good room. After arriving in the room, Jiang Meinyang kept shouting, "I'm so hot, I'm tearing at my clothes with both hands." Seeing that the snow-white mantu was about to come out of the pot, Ji Duoqing hurried to knock Jiang Meinyang unconscious with a hand knife. She put her hand on her back and slowly put it on the bed. Ji Duoqing raised her hand to pulse the beautiful woman, her face deep and terrifying. These beasts are so seductive to such a beautiful and sexy woman. It really hurts heaven. Charm is a type of sexual slave control drug produced in Japan, known as the most powerful aphrodisiac in the world. The biggest feature of this seductive drug is that after a woman takes it, she immediately needs male intercourse, and even if she wakes up, she will always be attached to the man, similar to Stockholm Syndrome. These grandsons are too vicious. What hatred do they have towards this woman? At this moment, Ji Duoqing looked carefully at Jiang Meinyang. Even though she had fainted, her body occasionally trembled. Pulling her hair behind her ear with her hand, Ji Duoqing was shocked. "Damn it, isn't this Jiang Meinyang? She's been in the office all day, when did she come out?" Ji Duoqing quickly recalled. After sorting it out, it should be that when he was joking with Shen Feiyu at the coffee shop, he didn't pay attention for a moment, and Jiang Meinyang drove out. What exactly happened in less than 3 hours? Ji Duoqing didn't think much. He quickly took out a tightly wrapped cylinder wrapped in cowhide, took out a silver needle like lightning on his right, and opened Jiang Meinyang's shirt with his left hand. With a flash of lightning, the silver needle penetrated into the mammary gland, and true energy slowly entered his body through the silver needle. At this moment, Ji Duoqing was already soaked all over. Looking carefully at her right hand holding the silver needle, she would find that it seemed to be shrouded in white mist. Half an hour later, a stream of fresh blood flowed out from the nipple and stained the bed sheet, making it look like a woman's first impression at first glance. At this moment, Jiang Meinyang's face gradually returned to a state of unparalleled beauty. "Finally cleared, I'm exhausted, no, I need to sleep, relieve some stress." Before I could wipe away the sweat from my face, I coincidentally lay down on Jiang Meinyang's double peaks and fell asleep. Chapter 7. Falling red is not a heartless thing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ah. You rascal, you bastard, sharp shouts woke up Ji Duoqing. My hands involuntarily pressed against each other, supporting me. At this moment, there were loud shouts of, "You rascal, you bastard," and then with a snap, a delicate and tender white palm slapped Ji Duoqing's face. At this moment, he also woke up and opened his eyes. He saw his hands resting on the soft peaks, which he still couldn't bear. He grabbed his fingers and felt it, thinking to himself, "Damn it, this little girl is really talented. She has an incredible touch, not bad, not bad." He looked at Jiang Meinyang with a wicked expression, pretending to be very innocent. Jiang Meinyang, feeling ashamed, lifted her leg and kicked the Ji Duoqing man lying on her body under the bed. With both hands protecting her peaks and embracing her chest, she quickly checked her body. Her clothes were neat and there was no pain in her body. She felt that she should still be safe, but when Jiang Meinyang turned over, she saw a plum blossom bloodstain on the bed. Jiang Meinyang took a deep breath and calmed her mood, tears uncontrollably flowing down. Feeling extremely depressed and sad in my heart, shedding tears, I looked at Ji Duoqing and held her hands tightly. Ji Duoqing was speechless when she was seen and said to herself, "What? I know I look like a jade tree facing the wind, but I can't look at myself so openly." Having protected her blood for 23 years, it was inexplicably gone and taken away by this sleazy thug in front of her. Looking at Ji Duoqing with a pig-like face, although Jiang Meinyang felt reluctant, the person in front of her was the one who saved her last night, and she didn't talk nonsense. After tidying up, I opened my bag, took out 200 yuan, and threw it in front of Ji Duoqing. I said arrogantly, "This is a tip for you. Because you have behaved mediocrely, remember not to reveal anything about today, otherwise I won't finish with you, and I will crack you." My eyes pretended to stare fiercely at Ji Duoqing, then turned around and left. It seemed very proud, but in fact, my heart was extremely sad. I can't give up yet. The goddess of heaven doesn't have time for me to give up anymore. I have to wait for my younger brother to come back and work hard together. Quickly walking out of the hotel, Jiang Meinyang casually greeted a passing taxi. "Master, Tianxi Building, thank you." Looking at the sky outside the car window, a hint of unintentional sadness appeared. The current Tianxi Jiaran Group is facing severe funding shortages, leading to numerous difficulties in project management. Despite its seemingly glamorous appearance and luxurious and grand office space, these are actually superficial phenomena. Jiang Meinyang and Jiang Tianxi are siblings of the same milk siblings. Mr. Jiang founded the Tianxi Beauty Group, specializing in cosmetics and beauty products. While developing rapidly, they also expanded into industries such as real estate, education, and investment. After the old man retired, he handed over the industry to his 3 sons, and the eldest son, Jiang Taiyu, was responsible for investment business. Currently, the operation is difficult, and the current Tianxi Jiaran Group is riddled with wounds, including Jiang Taiyu's figure. Because Jiang Taiyu also invested in Tianheng Group, with 1/3 of the family's funds invested in it. In the current situation of Tianheng Group, Jiang Taiyu's investment must have been in vain. The second one is Jiang Meinyang and Jiang Tianxi's father, Jiang Taibai. Unfortunately, Jiang Taibai's health was not good. When the 2 siblings were 4.5 years old, Jiang Taibai fell ill and passed away. Jiang Taibai's wife, who was the biological mother of the 2 siblings, died due to difficult childbirth during the childbirth of Jiang Tianxi. Since childhood, both parents passed away, and the siblings relied on each other for survival. Fortunately, Mr. Jiang doted on the 2 siblings, so they did not face much hardship and criticism during their growth process. However, the 2 siblings still occasionally received ridicule from those around them and unreasonable insults from some members of the family. All of this is because Jiang Taibai is too outstanding. Among the 3 sons of the old man, the most outstanding son is Jiang Taibai, known as the first genius of Haicheng. When Jiang Taibai took over Tianxi Jiaran Group, the market value was only 100 million yuan. His eldest brother and third brother took over the most profitable enterprises in the family at that time. Only Tianxi Beauty Group's beauty business has developed steadily, and Mr. Jiang's investment business company has caught up with the capital era where pigs can fly, so the growth rate is very fast. The construction business company that Jiang Sanyi took over also seized the opportunity of the Chinese government's vigorous development of the people's livelihood construction industry, and also made a lot of money. But that's it. In just 3 years, Jiang Taibai raised the market value of Tianxi Beauty Group to billions, and even personally developed it. It still affects the Haicheng beauty and skincare industry, and even affects the products of the Huaguo beauty industry, the Tianyan Shengshui series beauty products. 20 years have passed, and the Tianyan Shengshui series products still sell well nationwide. Relying solely on his own efforts, Jiang Yiri brought the Jiang family to one of the 4 major families in Haicheng, and even vaguely touched upon the first family. The Tianxi building was also built with the help of Jiang Taibai's influence. Chapter 8. Scam Man. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. When Jiang Yiri was planning to build the Tianxi building, the Jiang family did not provide much help, only Mr. Jiang provided support behind the house, and everything else was handled by Jiang Yiri alone. Among them, the third son of the Jiang family, Jiang Taikuan, who was also the third son of Mr. Jiang, occasionally came out to cause trouble because Jiang took over the family's construction business. Therefore, Jiang thought about whether he could take over the construction of the Tianxi building, and even wanted to control the construction of the Tianxi Group building with greater benefits. Of course, Jiang Yiri also understands his third brother's temperament very well. His only pursuit in doing anything is to prioritize interests and safety. He often does things that cut corners to maximize benefits. Fortunately, the old man gave him clear regulations that he was not allowed to participate in the construction of major projects. He only allowed him to participate in the preliminary bidding and personnel management. If Mr. Jiang did not agree, he would directly take back his family business and let him go home to work and die. That's it. The business managed by Jiang Sanyi is still frequently complained about, most of the reasons being withholding wages from migrant workers, not settling supplier payments, harassing female colleagues, and so on. Mr. Jiang always wiped his butt and almost lost his breath a few times. The central focus of the government's work in Haicheng City is to achieve common prosperity, live and work in peace and contentment, and never forget its original aspirations. The government has cracked down severely on policies such as withholding the wages of migrant workers and oppressing suppliers. Sometimes, the third master of the Jiang family actually acts recklessly, which really makes the old man uneasy. This time, the Tianxi Jiaran Group is facing the risk of bankruptcy, and Jiang Sanyi is also indispensable because he invested all the emergency reserve funds of the Tianxi Jiaran Group family into the Tianheng Group. Now that Su Jiejia is under control, his industry is being sold, and he has gone bankrupt or delisted. Jiang Sanyi's construction company has also been affected. He, like Jiang Dai, invested no less than 20 billion yuan in the Tianheng Group. Now he is crying and has no tears. A person often gets angry and scolds Su Jiejia for being a bastard, but it's useless. Seeing that the company he was responsible for in the construction business was running out of funds, he, like Mr. Jiang, was thinking about how to harvest from the Tianxi Beauty Group. Ji Duoqing looked at the 200 yuan in her hand. Instantly blushing and having a thick neck, he angrily said, "Damn it, do you despise me? Isn't it okay if I sell it out? I can save people and treat illnesses, and the minimum cost is tens of millions of dollars." Then, with a calm expression on his face, he solemnly said, "Minggu, I have found your sister. Don't worry, I will protect him." Ji Duoqing arrived at the front desk, put the room card on the front desk, and said to check out. The front desk lady looked up and said, "Sir, wait a moment, let's check the room." After about 3 minutes, the receptionist said to Ji Duoqing, "Sir, it's okay." Okay, Ji Duoqing creaked and lifted her leg to leave. At this moment, the receptionist continued, "Sir, I haven't finished speaking yet. Listen to me, sir, the room you are staying in requires you to pay a cleaning fee of 200 yuan due to the blood marks you left on the sheets." Ji Duoqing, instantly confused, "What's going on? Another 200 yuan, cleaning fee? I haven't done anything, okay?" Looking at the young lady on the front desk, Ji Duoqing said helplessly, "What's the cleaning fee? I didn't do anything, how could there be blood stains?" Upon hearing Ji Duoqing's words, the young lady on the front desk looked down upon her and said to herself, "Scumbag, stinky thug, they all took away the first blood of beautiful women. Those who still stink and shameless refuse to admit it, they only need 200 yuan for the cleaning fee. Can't they even afford it? Scumbag, loser, stinky and shameless." Ji Duoqing only then remembered why Jiang Meinyang was so angry when she woke up early in the morning, slapped herself in the face, and kicked herself out of bed. It turned out that Jiang Meinyang had misunderstood, and it seemed that this was the reason. Last night, while he was treating Jiang Meinyang, poisonous blood overflowed from her nipple and stayed on the bedsheet. At that time, I was too tired and fell asleep. In the morning, I was scolded by Jiang Meinyang and he didn't notice the bloodstains on the sheets. I fainted, I was so wrongly treated. I was also beaten. Mainly because I was misunderstood by Jiang Meinyang, and at the same time, the receptionist must have thought she was a scumbag, a thug or something, Ji Duoqing thought to herself. Ji Duoqing, without saying a word or talking nonsense, immediately took out the 200 yuan that Jiang Meinyang had thrown to him, put it at the front desk, and walked out of the hotel with a disheveled face. Facing the direction of the Tianxi building, I thought to myself, this is not enough. It seems that we need to protect Jiang Meinyang's side in order to nip the danger in the first place and uncover the mastermind behind the scenes. Ji Duoqing thought to herself, how could she be by Jiang Meinyang's side, so she walked towards the direction of the Tianxi building and walked quickly. Chapter 9. Stuck by a pig. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Jiang Meinyang weakly returned to the Tianxi building, pushed open the office door and walked in, wanting to cry without tears. The sense of frustration that arose naturally made her almost fall by her desk. Sitting in the boss's swivel chair, slowly turned to the floor window to see the prosperity outside the Haicheng window. Brother, where are you? I can't hold on to my father's career anymore, you know. Now I need to prevent uncle and uncle from eyeing me, and face shameless competition from business rivals. Come back now. Tears involuntarily flowed down my delicate, snow-white face. It looks so lovable, and at first glance, I want to embrace it. Dong dong, dong dong, dong dong. A few knocking sounds came from the door. Jiang Meinyang withdrew her thoughts, wiped away the tears from the corners of her eyes, and turned back to the table and chair, saying, "Please come in." At that moment, a sexy professional suit beauty walked in. Meinyang, are you okay? Where did you go last night? When I called you, it kept turning off, and I almost called the police. What's wrong? Why are you crying? Which bastard bullied you? Tell me, I'll go find him to settle the debt now, the person said. It's okay, Jingjing, Jiang Meinyang quickly replied. The person's name is Wu Jingjing, Jiang Meinyang's college classmate and only best friend. The two of them started dating in their first year of college, and together they graduated from undergraduate universities in China and completed their doctoral studies abroad. They experienced the most beautiful time in life, and they talked about everything and were very close. Sometimes in China, students misunderstand that two people have a homosexual relationship. Many people scold their mothers behind them. They think that the two fairy-level beauties are actually homosexuals. They often criticize in their hearts. It's too his mother wasteful. There is no reason. God, why are they so promiscuous? God, if I could hold hands with anyone, kiss Fangza, and save me 10 years, I would be willing to. In fact, Wu Jingjing originally planned to return to her family business to work after completing her studies. However, due to the family's marriage alliance, she was married to the disabled second youngest of the four major families in Kyoto. Due to her experience studying abroad and receiving education that prioritizes liberalism, Wu Jingjing is particularly unwilling to be sacrificed by her family. She even uses her as an exchange to sacrifice herself for the interests of certain people, which she cannot achieve. So he fled to Haicheng overnight and joined forces with Jiang Meinyang to contribute to the development of the Tianxi Beauty Group together. This is because both of them studied biotechnology, sharing common topics and research directions. So in the past 2 years, any new product launched by Tianxi Beauty Group has been developed with the participation of two fairy-level beauties. Meinyang, this is a plan for a commercial building in a city village. It was sent by Mr. Jiang early in the morning. Please take a closer look and see if there is any need to follow up. Wu Jingjing handed over a document and said, I think we can follow up on this project. If this commercial building is completed, we can turn it into the largest beauty industry center in China, which will echo the Tianxi building and add enough strength for Tianxi Beauty Group to go abroad and face the world, Wu Jingjing thought excitedly. Jingjing, our thoughts are the same, but currently, the group's funds have been emptied by the family. The raw materials produced by the factory next month have no money to purchase, and the accounts receivable have not been collected at all. Yesterday, I originally planned to discuss financing with Lumei Group, hoping that Lumei Group could raise 1 billion yuan, but I almost died, said Mainyang in a bad mood. What? Li Ji wants to kill you. You're not injured, are you? Jingjing finished speaking and began to examine Jiang Mainyang's whole body. When her hand touched Jiang Mainyang's soft and smooth double peaks, she felt a piercing pain on the left peak. Hurry up and stop Jingjing. Jingjing, come on, this is the office. Stop, she blushed and half lay on the boss's chair. No, Mainyang, have you been stung by a pig? No matter how I rubbed you before, you didn't blush. Why is your face still blushing today? It feels really good. Oh my goodness, Jiang Mainyang didn't have any feelings. She heard Jingjing say she had been arched by a pig, and suddenly a lewd image of Ji Duoqing appeared in her head, with a pig-like expression on her face. She wanted to act recklessly on her proud and delicate peaks, and at the same time, the pain on her left peak made her feel even more ashamed of being arched by a pig. Don't talk nonsense, how could I possibly be attacked by a pig? I definitely want you to be attacked by a pig first before I consider being attacked. Mainyang said with a guilty heart, but at the same time, she didn't dare to look at Wu Jingjing. Come on, how could I possibly be arched by a pig? In this life, I can only be arched by you. Who would call you incredibly charming and charming? Wu Jingjing said, extending her hands and timely performing Wei Juye's famous stunt, grab that dragon claw hand. Chapter 10. Agreement Husband 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ji Duoqing arrived at the CAFA, where there were already guests sitting in her usual seats. She couldn't help but look at the bar. At this moment, Shen Feiyu ran over all the way and whispered, Mr. G, wait a moment. Our boss will see you later and probably drive you away. You should go to Bird Island Cafe first. The gold card membership that I sent you can really get a free cup of coffee at Bird Island Cafe. 2 cups a day is not a problem. Why is this? Feiyu sister, tell me, Ji Duoqing joked. Shen Feiyu blushed and said stealthily, our boss said that the coffee shop is going to be upgraded now. Some customers, such as you, come and sit for a day, and occupy the seats of 4 people. Customers who only drink a cup of coffee must be recorded and advised to leave. I fainted, what a brainless boss, with such a bizarre business philosophy and management. This is not discrimination against handsome guys like me. Hee, Shen Feiyu smiled sweetly and said, Mr. G, I understand it shouldn't be like this, and it should also be temporary. Che, it must be. Your boss noticed that I am not spending here and only order a cup of coffee at 9.9 per day. I have been staying for a whole day, occupying a slot for 4 people. Ji Duoqing stared into Shen Feiyu's eyes and occasionally teased her. Shen Feiyu had never seen such a frivolous man like Ji Duoqing. His mind was particularly simple, and now his face was flushed. He lowered his head and said, Mr. G, I don't know if the boss has any ideas. Actually, you can come without coffee every time you come. Shen Feiyu, do you still want to do it? Suddenly, a particularly sharp and harsh voice sounded, breaking Shen Feiyu's words. At this moment, a woman with heavy makeup walked out from the direction of the bar. She looked less than 30 years old and had a relatively slim overall figure. She was dressed in sexy clothing and felt like she was twisting her waist 3 times in one step. If this woman doesn't wear heavy makeup up close, she should still be able to see. When I put on makeup, I feel very dusty. I don't know why, but I like the look of heavy makeup and bright application. Ice sister, I'm sorry, I told Mr. G that he will leave soon. After Shenfeiyu finished speaking, she lowered her head and bent down politely to reply. I don't care about this, but you must let him go now. You are in charge of managing this hall, and we don't welcome him. You see, he comes in with people who sell goods all over. He still has a 9.9 cup of coffee every day and occupies a seat in the booth all day. Why doesn't he go for 9.9 free shipping? Li Bingbing said, looking at Ji Duoqing with a discriminatory expression on his face. Damn it, it's not right for me to drink coffee, young master. Ji Duoqing replied. You can come to our place to have coffee, and we are also very welcome, but you look like a loser. You have 9.9 coffee every day and occupy 4 people's seats all day. How can we do business? After saying this, she turned her head arrogantly and left. At this moment, Shenfeiyu whispered, Mr. G, why don't you go to another coffee shop first? Our boss will leave soon, and you can come over. How about I treat you to a cappuccino? Ji Duoqing looked at Shenfeiyu and thought to herself, this girl is really innocent. In this era, it's really hard to find someone who looks like Shenfeiyu. He didn't want to make Shenfeiyu difficult, so Ji Duoqing turned around and walked out of the coffee shop. Taking a deep breath, he whispered, it's really frustrating. I didn't expect that I, the mighty Underworld King, would run rampant in Europe without anyone bothering me, and in North America without anyone stopping me. Today, I was despised. After thinking for a moment, he also felt relieved. In order to keep his promise to Mingwu and to want a peaceful life, he just looked down on it. Everything was normal, and it didn't matter. He just opened it up. Ji Duoqing walked to the left corner of the coffee shop and just wanted to continue walking forward. You stop, stinky thug, the sudden coquettish voice made Ji Duoqing look back. At this moment, I saw Jiang Meinyang walking quickly like the wind. Coincidentally, I still need to find you, come with me. Without waiting for Ji Duoqing's reply, regardless of whether he agreed or not, he turned his head and walked towards the Tianxi building parking lot. Ji Duoqing didn't think too much, and she also wanted to find Jiang Meinyang, so she followed over. After getting on the car, Jiang Meinyang handed Ji Duoqing a file bag and said, take a look. If you have no objections, sign it. Ji Duoqing didn't ask, looking at Jiang Meinyang in surprise for a full 10 seconds without speaking. At this moment, Jiang Meinyang angrily said, Rogue, what are you looking at? Open your file bag and take a look. Ji Duoqing then opened her file bag and took out the document that was pinned with a paperclip. The first thing that caught her eye was 4 words. Agreement husband. Ji Duoqing's surprised voice rang out, so what kind of ghost is this? Jiang Meinyang was shocked and looked at him speechlessly.